Jose Magana is with us today. How are you?
Great, great. Happy to be here.
Now, you are part of the Yellow Berry Hub, so can you just explain what your company does, first of all?
Sure. So we're technically an outsourcing company focusing
Mm.
mainly on sales and marketing, everything virtual. So it's just mostly about being, a line of support to our clients.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I just realised that my hot chocolate was hotter than I expected.
No worries.
So how did you first get into kind of setting up this company? Because it's quite an obscure thing and I don't think people would dream of it.
Yeah, well, it was pretty much trying to go on my own. When I was
Mm.
working, mostly just working in sales and marketing. So I set out to kind of increase my clientele. So having my own team was a good way of ensuring that I could take on more clients and kind of multiplying myself. So that's mostly like the initial idea that I had in mind, and yeah, as time passed, the team grew, but we're still very new, barely 3.5 years in.
Yeah, definitely. So how is it that you actually help these companies grow? What is the process and the journey that you take them on?
So they all involve different variables. I think,
Mm.
some clients are looking for different things. It
Yeah.
really depends on the type of client and what they're looking for. Some clients are just looking for external support in the way of staffing, and whereas others are looking more of a, deep consulting as far as, what services we can provide them to make them grow. So most
Yeah.
specifically, when it comes to scaling companies, up, we got to identify the variables that, pretty much they can control in order to grow. So the number one for us is always people, the team that they have. So
Mm.
we trust our team to become their team and so on. And that's how we start, identifying small things that usually business owners kind of miss out on. So to
Yeah.
me, it's always like small details, the small things that comprise a day to day in a company. High level CEOs or people who have been working at a high level for many years tend to lose sight of those as time goes by. So
Yeah.
we're always there to see it and kind of help them, chisel it out.
Mm. And of course, every single company is different, not just in the thing that they provide, but as how they're going to grow. So is it quite challenging to know what you have to do in each case?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we'll see a project that we know, well, these guys pretty much need funding, financing. They
Yeah.
need a lot of money. So it doesn't really matter what we do. It will be very hard to scale up if there's no money. There are
Mm.
ways to scale up companies, with no money, but there's got to be a lot of factors aligned in order for that to work, right?
Yeah.
So I think that identifying, if the client has the potential or if they have the resources already to scale up, identifying that will save us some time and save us all some money. We
Yeah.
prefer to be honest. There's a couple things in here that you need to do on your end that we can't control.
Mm. Yeah, that's for sure. I guess there's no magic wand, is there? They still have
Oh
to
no.
do a lot of work themselves.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes, a lot of clients will technically have everything they need, but they won't be
Mm.
able to see it.
Yeah.
It's very it's a weird thing to see, but a lot of people actually are already set up for it, but they just don't have the know-how. They don't know how to identify, which are the small things that can steer one thing to that side or that side. So
Mm.
sometimes it's technically like a question of common sense,
Yeah.
but it's weird. Not everyone sees it.
Yeah, and why do these companies necessarily need your company to try and save them? Why can't they just, I don't know, hire their own people?
They tend to do it. Some of them do hire their own people, but working with an external source could sometimes save you a lot of money.
Mm.
That's one of the things we try to do. When you hire someone in the US specifically, it's way more expensive than hiring someone in Central America. So
Mm.
we're actually in Central America. We do have a site in the US as well, but
Yeah.
all the clients that we have are in the US. So in a way, even if we have a higher price down here, it's still very low for a company in the US. So we are
Mm.
actually a less expensive option, if you will.
Yeah, and do you find that you get more business as a result of that?
We do. We've actually worked last 3 years in Upwork, where we actually got pretty good. So we've been actually operating with no financing. Most of the clients that come on board are either referrals or people that have read about us in Upwork.
Yeah.
We've been featured in some websites like Yahoo, Fox, Forbes. So, the word has spread a little bit, but we actually have never put down a single cent until now. We're just trying to expand and making some PR and stuff like that. But before that, it was just pure word of mouth.
Yeah. And Upwork, we should mention, is an online freelancing platform. And how
Correct.
easy do you find it to find work on there? Because I guess it's different from sites like Fiverr, where you have to actively look for jobs on Upwork, whereas Fiverr, the business comes to you.
It's geared differently.
Yeah.
I mean, Upwork, I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of people that have spent months and months and months applying and not a single response.
Yeah.
Also, people that work through Upwork tend to be, looking for new clients 2-3 times a year because clients cancel all the time, So to us, it's become a little bit like Fiverr in Upwork because we actually have over 100 requests per month. But the main difficulty that we have is, recruiting people for our team. Sometimes we'll spend, 200 interviews and we don't find someone who we think fits the model. So for us, the challenge is actually recruiting, not really finding clients. But it has changed. But Upwork at first, I did spend the entire day sending applications, and that was like my entire day.
Yeah.
2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing that the struggle actually exists on the other way round as well.
Yeah, we've tried to actually get on Fiverr. We are on Fiverr actually, but we've never had it's just different. Fiverr, it's going to be a little bit more niche, I guess, whereas in Upwork, it's a little bit more broad. They'll hire us for sales, for customer service, for marketing, like a lot of things. So we've never really worked on our Fiverr offering. I think it's just geared differently for what we do.
I guess so. And it takes a while for the momentum to get building on Fiverr as well, I guess.
Correct. Yeah, we've never really implemented anything on Fiverr.
Yeah.
But Upwork, we're top rated. We're actually top rated plus. I literally just found out it existed a couple months ago when they let us know. But yeah, it's a good sign. I think we're the only ones in Latin America with that. But that's just a token of good work on my team.
Yeah, definitely. It must be amazing to get a rating like that, because that means that for a lot of people, you'll be the first people they go to if they're looking for something that
Correct.
you do.
It does take a long time to get there. When I initially found out about Upwork, I kind of thought about it. Well, it would be great if I had this amazing rating, but it looked kind of impossible. But, we've been very meticulous to who we hire on our team. Yeah. So that's how we've managed to complete every job, 100%, 100%. There's been a couple we haven't completed to that extent, but the rating at this point has been high enough that doesn't go under 95. Even if we have a bad rating for some reason, it'll still be, over 95 at least. Yeah. So at this point, even, we'll get direct messages from Upwork, hey, this guy needs something similar to what you're offering. Please, send him a message. Yeah. So we kind of have like our own automatic BD going.
Yeah, definitely. And my understanding is that on Upwork, you only have a limited amount of proposals you can put to people or something. I don't know. Does that bother you?
It is that way. We don't really have that problem anymore, but before, there's like a limit you can have. And once you run out of those, you have to pay for extra ones. Yeah. So that was a day that we were actually paying daily to get more, as we sent proposals. But it's been a couple months since we actually used those. But it used to be a challenge because, you were limited to how much you could apply.
And is it worth the money that you pay? Do you kind of make it back with the jobs that you might get?
We had in our case, but as I said, I've known a lot of people that have spent months and months putting down money and barely 2 replies.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing, because a lot of the time you see one job and it's like loads of people have replied and you got no chance.
Yeah, that's the thing as well, that there's got to be like a tactic. But to me, the truth is that if you're trying to start a business through Upwork is really not I would not recommend it. I think there's other venues that are more manual. In Upwork, it's just there's a lot of things that gotta come in place for it to work for someone. But it happens. Some people, after they score a couple jobs, it'll be easier for them to find jobs. But at the same time, the contracts in there are a little unstable. Yeah. You're you're never really sure if that client is down for it in the long run or not. So it's a little bit of an issue in there, especially for me. Once you're recruiting people for your team, instead of other companies that will recruit people for a client. The way we see it is we bring in people for our team and then they work with the client. So people we hire are here to stay in for the long run. We're not a staffing company.
Yeah. And before you became the top rated plus, you were top rated for 5 years. So that just shows that you were continuously amazing.
We spent, I think, we got the first time we got top rated was in 2018. So we've lost it maybe once or twice for a month or two, maybe.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then since COVID, right when COVID was hitting, that's where we got the plus.
Yeah. And is that because more people have been looking online since COVID and maybe trying to improve their business when they've had time to reflect?
It is. I never really saw that big of a change with COVID on my end. I mean, I did have some clients that, went down, as many did, sadly, but we also had some clients who increased, their sales and revenue. And so we never really were hit with COVID. It was mostly just like a period of uncertainty. Yeah. But it's really hit or miss. I did see some industries go up and others go down, but to be quite honest, I didn't really see that much change. Maybe just more people interested in working from home.
Yeah, definitely. I guess the businesses like vaccines, Amazon, and Zoom have all done amazing. Everyone else, terrible.
Yeah, we've always had a Zoom account, but we probably started using it a lot until 2020.
Yeah, definitely. So how come you know so much about what makes a good business?
Well, I think, and I mentioned this a little 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When I actually started my first business when I was a little kid, and I've had more companies before Yellowberry Hub, just smaller ones, but they all achieve profitability, and as working for other people, I was able to identify, sometimes just small mistakes they made that would just keep the business from growing. Same happens with my clients, same has happened with my team. So I guess that sometimes people are just not that keen on reading up, in between the lines when it comes to, the what I mentioned before, the variables that make up their companies. So I try to focus a lot on companies where the main variable they can change is people. So that's easier for me because now I can identify, okay, so this is the profile this person needs. They need a sales shark. They need a very good marketing person because those are the things you need more, right? You need more leads and you just need someone to close them. So they're really not that complex. Most of the clients that we choose to work with are always almost involved with the variable that is people. So that's what makes it easier for me. I can just find the right person, then we can, get the job done. But when it comes to other factors, like, let's say someone is struggling more because of taxes and certain streamline of businesses or finances, those are harder for me to work on because, I really don't have the time, and securing an asset that can actually do that is actually harder. So we're also very meticulously into who we work with to know that we can actually provide them with a solution. We're not just closing the client just to close it if we're not going to be able to deliver.
Yeah, definitely. So what would you say is the most common issue with a business that you've found?
Understanding their teams. People literally have no clue how to manage their teams at times. Sometimes they think they do, but a little change or a little decision can alter the perspective of an entire team and just bring everything down or send it the other way. Yeah. Toxicity is very easy to get a hold of one person and it spreads out. To me, it's always team handling where I find that companies that scale up are always struggling with, because that's the main evidence when a company is scaling up, visually at least, it's the amount of your team growing, right? Because the finances are different, those are usually just for high level operatives, but visually as a employee in a company, the way you see it is by the team growing, right? So keeping the team tight, and on the same page is usually what will create stability for the organization and make progress, and scalability easier.
Yeah, definitely. And I take it you practice what you preach when it comes to your own business. You really take care of your team.
Well, I try to do it the best way that I can. COVID has actually created like a challenge.
Mm,
We used to do like like a monthly reunion as a team, small events, things of that nature. And COVID
yeah.
sent us 10 months, 11 months that we really even lost sight. So going into COVID, the team was 15, 17 people, and now we're over 42. So,
Yeah.
it's grown in a year a lot, but managing the team has completely changed because it's all virtual, right? And
Yeah.
half of the team has never really met the other half that was at the office.
Oh, yeah.
So we're starting to work on little things to get everyone involved, smaller huddles, things of that nature. But I always try to include them in all decisions, be transparent as well as the finances, the way that we work,
Mm,
our rates. Everyone on our team is aware of our rates, which in similar companies they try to hide it. But
mm.
since we're an agency, it's a little bit different. It doesn't really matter what rate the project you are is working on. It's about the quality of the work.
Yeah, definitely. And as well as doing all this, you also represent the Startup Grind in El Salvador. What is that exactly?
So the startup grind is, one of the biggest entrepreneur circles or organizations in the world. I think it's
Yeah.
it's the biggest one,
Wow.
together with the EO, the Entrepreneur Organization. So I did talk to them before COVID about representing him here. They actually had someone, but never really got anywhere.
Mm,
But this year they reached out to me, told me if I wanted to take the project. I was a little hesitant because I don't have the time.
mm.
It's taken me a couple months to get it going, but I think end of this month we're going to start having our first, fire chat. We have an entrepreneur from El Salvador, pretty much telling him story, and we're going to be doing about 2 of those a month. So it's a way to keep the entrepreneur circles in the country, growing and aware of each other, and providing them support. Because a lot of people here, as anywhere in the world, we get bombarded a lot with people like coaches and offering services to grow a business, and you really don't get anywhere with it. So
Yeah.
my plan was to bring everyone who's actually doing it together so that you can actually learn from people who have actually done it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, where are we able to check out all your services everywhere? I take it is Upwork, but is there anything more to it than that?
Yeah, I think the best is the website,
Yeah.
yellowberryhub.com, or all of our social media links are in there. So you'll find everything in there.
Great. Well, thanks very much for joining us today.
Yeah, no, it's been my pleasure. I appreciate you hosting us.